All right. Good morning, everyone. Today is November 20th, 2025. We are meeting in person and virtually today at the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board. It is 9:31 a.m. Today's meeting will be recorded. We encourage the public to provide comments specific to items on the meeting agenda. Public comment guidelines are posted on our website, indicating the various ways you can let us know in advance of the meeting that you wish to provide public comment. No one indicated that they wish to provide public comment at today's meeting prior to the 5 p.m. deadline as of yesterday, and no written comments were received prior to the close of business yesterday, November 19th. No one this morning has signed up for public comment either. The chat feature has been turned off. If you have technical difficulties, please email us at askus@wsgc.wa.gov. All right, so first I will call the roll. Vice Chair Lawson.
Here.
Right, Commissioner Ibsen.
Here.
Commissioner Charles. Okay. Senator Conway. I heard someone. Oh, there he is.
It's present.
Good morning, Senator. Thank you. Senator Holy. Representative Koba.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Waters. All right, so that gives us a quorum, so we can go ahead and get started. So first, I would like to thank Commissioner Ibsen for his service on the commission. Today is his last meeting with us, and he has been elected as the mayor of Tacoma. So congratulations on that. It was awesome working with you over the past while, and wish you the best of luck in that new endeavor. That sounds stressful, but also very exciting.
Of course. And thank you everyone for the amazing opportunity. It was a pleasure working with you these years, and it's been a great experience, and looking forward to concluding this meeting and making sure that the work is ongoing and that you're well supported and that you have a partner in Tacoma.
Thank you. Senator Conway, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I would just want to thank him for his service on the Gambling Commission. Thank you. We always appreciate having our Tacoma people on the Gambling Commission. So thank you, and congratulations on your election. It's a
See
real
you in January.
Okay, we'll see you in January. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we will move to the consent agenda, which is the October 16th commission meeting minutes, the new licensees and Class 3 gaming employees. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions on those items? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented by staff.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Next up, we have the executive director's report.
Good morning, commissioners, ex officios. I do want to also offer my congratulations to Commissioner Ibsen, and it has been a pleasure working with you. So with the in the packet, you'll find the Haspent Cards Room summary for a financial summary for 2024. It's also posted on our website. And this is in relation to a rule requirement that Haspent Cards Rooms submit audited, reviewed, or compiled financial statements each year, each fiscal year, and then we summarize that information and post it online. So the link to our website, I think, is also in the email or in the memo. Also, staff as well as Chair Levy attended the Centennial Accord at Elon this last month, and during the accord, an executive order was issued to align best practices for tribal engagement, including consulting prior to taking actions that directly affect tribes. So we're reviewing that executive order for the most part, and I think we are aligned in those actions that are called for, but there are a few areas that we'll continue to work on with the tribes, with our tribal partners, for future engagements and consultation. We did also at the end of October preview our new IT system for our external users. It's how external users do business with us will be changing once we convert to this new licensing, case reporting, timekeeping, and billing system, which we expect to go to at the beginning of 2026. So we had very good attendance and representation, both from tribal partners and licensees. If you were not able to participate in that demonstration, there are links to that on our website. I really encourage you to take a look. We have one page on our website dedicated to changes coming to my account. And you can get to that page if you go to our main page and scroll down just a little bit from the main banner. You'll see the link to changes coming to my account. And on that page, it outlines all of the new features that will be available to external users, as well as then the video from that demonstration. There's also frequently asked questions. Please engage with that as much as you can and reach out to us if you have any questions, and there'll be more training and opportunities as in the future. And then lastly, we did also produce a video for local law enforcement to help them understand some of the nuances to investigations that may occur at licensed locations. And so our agents are contacting their local law enforcement agencies to see if they would be interested in us sharing that short video with them. And if licensees are hearing this and they want to reach out to their agent and facilitate that conversation with local law enforcement, it's only because our agents are not available to respond to gambling related crimes at all times. And so this would be bridging that time period and helping the locals, because there's some nuances to gambling crimes. So very thrilled that staff was able to put this together. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will move to the fiscal year 2026 revenue update with Crescenda Hansen, our Chief Financial Officer. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like Representative Hoba has a question first. Apologies.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I was trying to get that in a bit before we moved on. This was a question for Director Griffin, and I appreciate that in your last update, you talked about a cease and desist order to Bovada, who apparently was conducting illegal sports betting, I believe, and just wanted to hear if was there any follow-up to that? Were they compliant with that cease and desist order? Like how's that going?
We strive for voluntary compliance, and to my understanding, they have not voluntarily complied. Since it is an offshore entity, we as other states face the challenge then of this is about as far as we can go at this point without the involvement of the federal authorities taking some interest in this issue that is prevalent across the U.S., right? This isn't just a Washington state issue, unfortunately, but I'm sure you've talked about it. Nickel G's a great deal. So yes.
Yes. And so we've not gotten any, have we pursued federal involvement? I don't know the process for that. Is that something we're able to do?
We certainly could undergo a great deal of cost and expense in moving forward with some sort of injunction or some sort of court action. I don't know that we as a state agency are well positioned financially for such an endeavor. And I believe we are working with other states. We have joined in. AG Brown certainly has also joined with all the other attorney generals across the United States, asking DOJ Pam Bondi to really rise this to a level of which the Department of Justice gets involved because of the prevalence and ongoing concerns around these illegal sites. I mean, Bovado is just one
Oh,
So-
yes, indeed.
of many.
Okay, so,
But we are working with states in an effort to try to address this. But without
Yep.
undergoing a great deal of financial
uh-huh.
challenges to take them on as one state agency. I mean, we could explore that.
Yeah, well, I think there's a joint effort there between your agency and legislative funding to be able to do that. Clearly, it is something that causes harm to people to have these types of gambling operations happening in our state. They certainly are often used to finance other terrible things like, guns and so forth. Anyway, so that is important information. I appreciate you sharing that. I don't see that offshore gambling is anything that would be a priority of the administration. So I think we would, just like everything else, be on our own. So, all right. Well, that's something good to think about. Appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Senator Conway? You're muted. Senator, you're still on mute.
My suggestion is to send a letter to our congressional delegation on this. I think that would be the appropriate place to go. I mean, it just to express our concern, and because the congressional delegation can probably talk to the Department of Interior there about the problem, and maybe even there are other states. So I think maybe we should at least send a letter to our congressional delegation on our concerns, and I would urge you to consider that. I mean, it's obvious that it's a problem. It's probably going to become more of a problem, as we know, because we're living in this internet area, epic here. So I'd encourage you to do that. I had another question for you. You know, we've been seeing a lot of legal action around improper sports betting. And, you know, the issue here is concerning me is that I don't know whether, you know, we've been seeing on the news a lot of concern about the and I just would urge you to keep in mind that the sports betting, even though it's in the tribal exclusive realm of the tribes, there has been a lot of the illegal gambling that's going on there in terms of some of the betting that's going on is of concern to me. And I think we should be monitoring that a little bit to make sure that we aren't seeing any seeing that in our own gambling establishments. It's this ability to bet on very simple activities of people in sports games that concerns me here, and I hope that you'll look into that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator. Okay, now I believe we can move on to Crescenda. Sorry about that. So the fiscal year 2026 revenue update.
Good morning.
Ernie.
For the record, Crescenda Hansen, CFO for the Gambling Commission. This is just a very brief presentation. We, when we presented last month, we didn't have an update on our quarterly revenue because of the timing of QLR reporting. So I'm back today to share that information. So next slide, please. So this is our draft year-to-date overview for our revenue and our expenditures. Our initial forecast for our revenue from July through October was just under 6.5 million. Our actual revenue is right at 7 million. So we do have a positive variance in that area. And then for expenditures, our allotted was almost 6.4 million, and our actual expenditure through October of 2025 has been. I apologize.
Why not?
Can you not hear me?
We couldn't for a second. You're back now.
Oh, okay. Let me just double check my microphone setting. No, okay. It's on the right thing. I want to make sure my laptop wasn't trying to use my microphone. So I'll just start over and I will speak louder and hopefully that will resolve any issues. So this is our draft fiscal year 26 revenue. So fiscal year 26 started in July. So we're looking at numbers for July through October. Our forecasted revenue was just under 6.5 million and our actual revenue was at 7 million. So we have a positive variance of about 550,000. And then for our expenditures, our allotted expenditures were almost 6.4 million and our actual expenditures for this 4-month period have been about $6 million. So overall, our revenue forecast is up slightly from what we originally anticipated. And our expenditures are under what we have allotted. And again, that's because of variances with billings from central services, the vacancies that we have that we are in various stages of recruitment for, and then some of our anticipated expenditures for equipment have not occurred yet. This is my one and only slide, so rather than having my slide advance to the questions, I can leave it here and take any questions if anybody has them.
I don't see anything.
Okay.
So
That is all I have for the day, so I hope you guys have a good day.
all right, you too. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next we have our 2026 legislative session report with Tricia. Good morning.
Good morning, Tricia Gullion, Legislative and Rules Manager. Yes, first I have a brief legislative update. Since lawmakers left Olympia in April, state revenue projections have significantly decreased. The latest revenue forecast on Tuesday showed an additional 66 million deficit over the next 4 years. We know that budget writers, their main focus when they come back to Olympia in January for the 2026 legislative session will be primary focused on dealing with the budget deficit. And as such, our state agency, we don't have any agency request legislation this year because we also want to focus on the budget. Director Griffin and I have been meeting with nonpartisan legislative staff. We've been meeting with governor staff and budget writers, the legislative budget writers to talk about our agency budget and what an impact it would have on our agency if they were to come back again in the 2026 legislative session and take more funds from our account. At a previous meeting, we did discuss about writing a letter to budget leaders regarding our budget and the impact that a sweep would have on our fund balance. Is that something that you would still like to pursue?
I think so. I don't know how the other commissioners feel. I know, did Commissioner Ibsen get on? I mean, Charles, sorry, get on? Okay. Does anyone have any? Go ahead.
If I can speak to that, I think that's a pretty prudent course to do. I think what makes this agency unique among the other institutions in similar fields is that this is effectively a law enforcement agency. And sweeping away funding from a self-sustained enterprise fund to cover the general fund deficit, besides being not the most responsible practice by the legislature, also imperils the successful ability to regulate gambling and keep it honest, and all the other attendant criminal justice implications to that. So I think that besides the less than responsible notion of sweeping the funds to cover a general fund shortage, just urging the legislature to consider the public safety aspects of doing that.
Any other commissioners? So then we do need a motion for that. If Representative Klobuchar?
Just wanted to quickly say, yes, that I well put and I concur. Commissioner Ibsen, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Senator Conway? You're muted, Senator.
I think it's appropriate to send a letter, and I think it's also appropriate to alert some of our partners in gambling to equally be engaged in this. You know, the tribes are often our important partners in the gambling issues here in our state, and I think it'd be good to reach out to our partners to encourage them to also visit with the budget writers about this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so do we have a motion?
To present the letter to the legislature as presented by staff.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. And next up, we have a petition to initiate rulemaking to allow electronic raffles to award merchandise prizes. We have Tricia, the legislative manager, and Jacob Hall, the manager at the Seattle Kraken. They are both.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so tab 4 is the petition to initiate rulemaking. Jacob Hall, on behalf of the Seattle Kraken, is asking to amend WAC 230-11-300, the definitions, to add the possibility for qualified sports teams to offer additional smaller prizes such as signed equipment, merchandise, game and concert tickets, et cetera, through electronic raffles. The petitioner feels this change is needed because non-electronic raffles already allow for multiple prizes to be offered, and this would make electronic raffles more aligned with non-electronic raffles. There is a policy consideration I want to bring your attention to. Staff reviewed the petition and believe there may need to be additional changes to other WACs to address this request, such as the similar requirements which are outlined in WAC 230-11-065, which ensures an organization conducting a raffle has the means to purchase or secure the merchandise before the time of the drawing. And there are limitations on the value of the merchandise prizes awarded at a single prize and cumulatively during the license year. The petitioner is present, and if you would like to hear from him, I can pause and come back for you to take action.
Do you want to?
Please.
Yeah. Real quick, can someone send a link to Commissioner Charles?
Yes, one moment.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, commissioners, ex officios online, staff in the room and online. As Tricia said, my name is Jacob. I'm with Wonder Foundation, which is the charitable arm of the Seattle Kraken and Climate Pledge Arena. I'm here today, as Tricia said, to ask commissioners to initiate rulemaking to amend WAC code 230-11-300. It's called definitions. And as Tricia said, seeking to be allowed to offer additional prizes, or I call them secondary prizes, along with half of the jackpot at our electronic raffles. simply seeking the option to do so. I'm assuming other electronic raffle licensees might not choose to do this. The reason I want to see this rule change eventually is because I think it would incline more fans to participate in our raffles and our games. I do have slides that I can share that kind of show a little bit of how our raffle has been going over the last 3 years. We've seen a decline in participation. Here we go. Excellent. I do have a little bit of information about One Roof Foundation here. As I said, we're an independent 501c3 charity associated with the Seattle Kraken and Climate Pledge Arena, working to serve children from underserved communities and increase access to opportunities for those who are furthest from them through our 3 pillars of access to play, ending youth homelessness, and environmental justice. We operate the electronic raffle at our games in order to fundraise for our foundation. Every dollar we put back out into the community is raised by our foundation, and the 50/50 raffle is one of the more significant ways that we do that. And if anyone wants more information, I did bring community impact reports from the last year as well. You can see our raffle results here from 2023-24. I go by our hockey season through the first 13 games this year. Those red numbers underneath average sales and average transactions, so average sales per game and then average transactions per game, or how many fans are participating. And those numbers continue to decrease there, which I take to mean that our fans want to see our program refreshed a little bit. And I think that potentially allowing secondary prizes is a good way to do this, while keeping the structure of the raffle mostly the same as it is already, selling only to people in the building. What this really boils down to is me taking longer to do the manual draw by pulling multiple winning tickets each night. And then if we go to the next slide as well, and if anybody wants to come back and look at these again, I certainly can provide more context. I believe on the next slide are some examples of additional or secondary prizes that we could offer. Jersey off the back is something where fans come on the ice and get to meet their favorite player and take home their jersey that they wore during a game. Our mascot Bowie loves to get into the community and visit people as well. We've got team signed merchandise there. Every team is different. We're very lucky to have the brand awareness and the platform that we do, and we just want to see it used to the fullest extent possible, while again keeping the structure in place that we have already. And then on these next slides are just some examples from around the country, other NHL teams who do something similar to this. It's not exactly the same. I really just wanted to show commissioner, staff, ex officios what this would look like in practice. Very easy to, on our website, list additional prizes in addition to the jackpots, which we do already. So there are a couple different examples there. We can probably skip right by these. And then the last slide I have is what our One Roof Foundation 50/50 raffle website currently looks like, enlisting our jackpots in if they were claimed. I'm happy to answer questions if anyone has them. Thank you again for hearing me out.
All right, thank you. And Representative Kloba, do you have a question for Jacob?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. I was wondering, and maybe we could go back to the slide that had your revenues from the raffle. And I'm wondering if, actually 2 questions. What's the average ticket price that a fan might pay in order to attend a home game there?
In order to attend a home game, I would say average price. I'm not privy necessarily to this information. There are a lot of different ways that our fans can take advantage of deals, and the secondary market is always in flux. If I had to guess, I would say average $75 to $100. If that.
Okay.
There are other ways that we provide free tickets to the community as well. That's my best guess, though, and I could certainly get that information for you for exact answer.
Yeah, that's helpful. Just to get a ballpark. I've not purchased a game, a ticket to a game, so I'm kind of flying blind there. So that's helpful, just to scale of magnitude. Have you guys done any analysis in terms of your the cost of attending the game, the match, the whatever, the costs that people would generally put out for the variety of snacks and beverages that make it fun, as well as the amount of their discretionary income that they are spending on the variety of ways that they can gamble on these things, either pregame or in-game? And any analysis on how much that has impacted the amount of money they have to spend on this type of gambling?
A lot of layers there. We do have a very intelligent business intelligence team that I'm not a part of. I don't think I can really speak to that. As far as discretionary income, as I'm sure you know, it varies from fan to fan. We're always looking at different aspects of this program and what might incline someone to participate or not participate. But what we come back to is that at the end of the day, this is for a charitable cause. And so we really try to, we being the volunteers and myself at games and our entertainment and production team, telling the stories of families and children who are impacted by this program. And it is completely voluntary. So we ask repeatedly, but as we can see here, our fans want a little bit something different. I think that the charitable aspects certainly, isn't lost on people. We play a lot of games. We ask for these donations repeatedly. I think you can see by the numbers there. There are certain games where fans participate and certain ones where they don't, and that's okay. To answer your question, certain things like what you listed are always being analyzed. I am not privy to that information. Again, I'm sure it's something we would share with the room if it were made available to me. Thank you for your question. I understand that maybe it's not a great answer.
No, I think it's worth pondering. People's incomes are pretty tight these days. And so I don't know if getting a signed jersey is going to be the thing that puts people over, but I appreciate you answering the question. Thank you.
Senator Conway?
Yeah, I thank you for your effort here in helping the children of our state and what you're doing with them. I understand you're doing some exemplary work there, and thank you for your effort. The only issue I have is, should there be a material limit on these prizes? You've really shown prizes that are de minimis in cost, but as we evolve, we could start offering more expensive prizes like trips and other things. And I'm just curious, I hope the Gambling Commission gives some thought to what was said in the introduction to the bill, that there may be a need to put some kind of material limit on this, because, I've been around a lot of raffles in my day. The raffles which attract attention are those that, like a trip to Ireland, I'll use that as an example. And I'm just curious whether you have given any thought to the need maybe for some material limits on these prizes, because these are electronic raffles where you're giving out additional prizes in addition to, I assume, the cash prize. And I just wonder if you've given any thought to that.
Thank you, Senator Conway. I appreciate the compliment there at the beginning of your statement. I am lucky to be a part of a small team who takes the commitment to our community very seriously. And I play a small role, but I'm happy to be a part of it. And I agree with you. I want to be clear. I'm not asking for free reign, just to offer any prize that comes to mind. I definitely think limits and parameters are a good thing to have. And I would hope that by initiating rulemaking, that's a conversation potentially myself, other electronic raffle licensees and staff could have together to figure out what sort of parameters make sense.
Any other questions for Jacob? No. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here this morning. Are there any other questions or comments from commissioners or ex officios?
My concern with this is that last month, the NHL, so National Hockey League, announced a deal with two prediction market companies, Kalshi and Polymarket, that gives access to the teams and the NHL's data and all sorts of other things. And as we all know and are very concerned about, these prediction markets are not currently regulated by the state. And so the Seattle Kraken are participating in this form of unregulated gambling, and then coming to the Washington State Gambling Commission and asking us to give them more opportunities to have gambling through this raffle. And I am not in favor of that. There's my only comment.
All right, thank you. Any other-
I'd like to make a comment too, Chair.
Uh-huh.
If possible, great. So, I started thinking about kind of like the original intent of these electronic tools for raffles was really to kind of more like modernize the mechanisms, not necessarily allow it to expand. And it's starting to feel to me more like they're asking for more than what the legislature originally intended. And I think this feels a little bit out of our scope. So, as this feels like it's kind of changing the nature of the activity a little bit. I feel like that kind of decision should come from the legislature, not from us. I'm also convinced that if you start bringing in like high value items or even like brand driven prizes, that the raffle really starts to feel more commercialized as a promotion, less charitable activity. So to me, that feels like a pretty big shift. And so from like a practical standpoint, I just worry about when valuation, transparency challenges that might be created from this. And so just my judgment is that I feel like this is beyond our authority and introduces risks that the Gambling Commission can't really manage very well. So I'm really not in favor of moving forward personally.
All right, thank you for that. I am in favor of moving forward. I appreciate Representative Kova's statement that maybe people don't want a jersey right now, they can't afford it, and that's not what's going to drive it. But I do think anything that can help drive to raise money for the community is good and important. And this would only be initiating rulemaking, wherein then we could set limits on the types of prizes. So we could, not allow them to give away cars or whatever the issue is. It'd be things like jerseys valued at, I don't know how much a jersey is, but let's say 250 or less or whatever they are. We could put whatever parameters kind of we felt necessary, and then always open it back up for rulemaking if they come back and present in a couple years and say, hey, this is going really well. Can we expand this to a higher limit or whatnot? So I think there's a lot that we can do and take into consideration in the initial rulemaking process. And I just don't really see a problem with it myself.
Thank you, Chair. I myself am skeptical too, for the reasons that Commissioners Lawson and Charles indicated. What I would also say is also just the logistical reality of staff time. Staff has already indicated that there would be multiple WACs that this touches on, for instance, and that to me speaks to less of a rule issue and more of a policy issue guiding the rules. And it's always a careful dance that we have to do as an agency. We're always within the very strict confines of the legislative intent. And the fact that there already is so much administrative ambiguity touching on multiple WACs, that to me says that this is a question of the RCW. This to me just feels like the potential for an expansion of gambling, period, which inevitably is always going to involve more of a legislative branch conversation. And the other reality besides staff time is also money, because in a previous conversation, we literally voted to send a letter to the legislature asking for future protection of our funds. And if we're talking about precarious impacts to licensing revenues, if we're talking about just having to defend our current pot of money, then that's absolutely a money issue. And we're already talking about preserving our cash reserves. We're talking about IT upgrades and all that, all those expenses that entails as well. And additional staff time reviewing something innately complicated that we don't even necessarily have direct guidance from a legislative branch. That to me seems like putting the cart before the horse. So that would be my implication, would just my inclination would be to not move forward with this and to ask our partners in the legislature if this is something that would be of interest to them to explore, to start there and then give the agency further guidance.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Do we have a motion?
Chair, I move to deny the Seattle Kraken's rule petition to allow electronic raffle licensees to deny the Seattle Kraken's rule petition to allow electronic raffle licensees award, I think there's a typo there, to award merchandise prizes. And the reason being the reason stated, ambiguity in the face of the State Gambling Act and the impact to staff time and the need for additional work on the front end prior to administrative rulemaking.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you. Right, this concludes the agenda items for today's meeting. Remember, if you'd like to provide comment at a future meeting, please refer to public guidelines on the various ways you can provide public comment. The next Gambling Commission meeting will be held on January 8th and 9th at the Liquor and Cannabis Board. It is now 10:12 a.m. and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Commissioner Ibsen. And I also know today's Nicole Fraser's last meeting with us. So thank you so much, Nicole. You've been fantastic. We appreciate all your hard work. All right, bye.